What is going on, everybody out there in the YouTube trucking community? Sean Cahalan, Christian Brother Trucker, coming at you again with another video today. And I know it's been a while since I've posted a video. You know, I work hard and I don't always have time to put together videos and post them on YouTube and all that fun stuff. Today's topic is going to be talking about breakdowns. Yeah, I broke down. So, I got a trainee on my truck and I trained him up, and the trainees over here spend about 4 weeks on the truck, and so we were about 3 days out from finishing my trainee up and getting him dropped off over in Fontana, and we came into Phoenix to swap out loads, get another load, and go over to Albuquerque, New Mexico. And when I left out from Phoenix, Arizona to head up the I-17 and go north, I had a check engine light come on, and there was some coolant leaking out of the coolant tank reservoir up top, and so I didn't really know exactly what was going on. I just knew that I had a check engine light, and I was about 75 miles north of Phoenix, climbing up the hill. And so I stopped the truck for the night. I found a place to pull off, and then I called breakdown, and they said, yeah, I'll go ahead and turn around and bring the truck back down into Phoenix and we'll repower your load. And so I did. And I guess there's some kind of electrical problem with the wire harness, or they're having a lot of difficulty finding the problem with why the truck is showing a fault. It has something to do with the DEF dosing, and I noticed that this truck isn't using a lot of DEF, and so they're having quite a bit of problems trying to figure out what the problem is. So I'm going to say two things about this scenario. One is that you know, with these trucks, you're going to have problems with them. You're going to have breakdowns, you're going to have issues, you're going to have this and that happen. I got to say that, you know, I've spent, this is my third day on breakdown, trying to figure out, you know, waiting for them to try to figure out what's wrong with the truck, not being able to figure out what's wrong with the truck. And so they are going to have me pull all of my stuff out of this truck, and I'm going to go get into a different truck. You know, I could take this in a negative light, and I could say that this sucks and how bad this sucks, you know, but I've been driving truck for 8 years, and I know that this stuff happens. And I think what sets a good company apart from a bad company is how they handle these things, and how long you sit before they make a decision to move you into a different truck to get you back on track, to get you, you know, back to making money and running loads again. So, you know, in a situation like this, they wanted to wait for the truck to go in and try to see if they could figure out what was wrong, and they weren't able to figure out what was wrong. And we're, you know, like I said, day 3. So the good news is that I'll be getting into a newer truck. I think that's awesome. So they're gonna send my trainee over to Fontana in a rental car. So he's going to get his rental car. He's gonna come back to the truck, grab all his stuff, and he's gonna go back to Fontana. He's done with his training, so he's gonna get home over to Fontana area, and they're gonna test him out for getting his own truck solo. And it was unfortunate that he had to wait around with me, waiting to try to figure out what was wrong with this truck. But I think that's awesome that they were able to get him, you know, get him done and get him over to Fontana so that he can move on with his life. And I'm gonna have to take everything off this truck and put it in a rental car and drive to Tulsa with it. So my thoughts are, I think that Knight Transportation's doing an amazing job. You know, the benefit of being an employee And a company driver is, I get, you know, breakdown pay while I'm waiting, and, you know, they go through the expense of, you know, getting a rental car and getting you to a truck that's gonna get you back on track and get you down the road. So my hat's off to the company for paying for the expenses to get, you know, to get my trainee going and to get him going in the right direction over to California, and getting me going over to Tulsa to get into a different truck. It is what it is. You know, you hear that saying a lot in this industry, and I got to tell you that you drive truck long enough, you will experience breakdowns. You will experience having to be shut down, waiting on a shop to try to figure out what's wrong with your truck. And a lot of times they can't fix what it is that's wrong with the trucks, and so sometimes the truck has to go to a dealer, to go into a dealer shop so that they can diagnose, dig deeper to find out what's going on. The only indication that I had that anything was off with this truck, it's been running fine, but it hasn't been using DEF a lot. So what do I mean by that? Well, most trucks, every third time that you fuel, you'll need to fill up your DEF tank, and sometimes you can get through you know, 2 to 3 tanks of fuel before you need to fill up your DEF. But your DEF should be going down about 1/3 of a tank or a 1/4 of a tank for every time you fill up the diesel on a full diesel fill. So about every second to third time you fill up, you'll need to add DEF. Well, that wasn't happening. I would fill up the DEF, and then I would top off the tanks, and the second time I would fill up, I would go through a full tank of diesel, and my DEF reading would still be almost full. And so the second time I would fill up, my DEF would still barely be almost full, but it just wasn't going through DEF. And evidently there's a wire that goes to some kind of diaphragm or some kind of manifold or something, I don't know. But the sensors talk to each other until it tells the DEF doser how much to put into the diesel exhaust based off of sensors and wires and all of that stuff. And I guess that's not working right, so it's not putting in the proper amount of DEF fluid. So it's throwing a code. The sensors aren't talking to each other correctly, so, you know, when those check engine lights come on, if you keep driving them, it's going to lead to a shutdown on your diesel exhaust, because if it's not working right, the truck will not run. So yeah, it's the bad side of diesel exhaust systems on these trucks. The sensors and wires and electronic stuff. Not fun. Not fun at all. But, you know, I love what I do. I love trucking. It's just sometimes you got to endure through some difficult stuff out here, and take a lot of patience to get through and work through things, and it happens. So if you're going to come out here and think that you're never going to break down, you're never going to have to sit in a shop, you're never going to have to sit around while they're working on your truck, yeah, you will. But I know that I endure all things through Christ. And, you know, I know eventually that God will work it out. Gotta have faith. Just gotta have patience and faith. I feel really bad for my trainee having to wait around with me. And I'm really grateful that, you know, my trainee's fleet manager was able to just say, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and send him over to Fontana and get him home. So I was telling him that there's no sense in my trainee having to wait around with me if the truck's going to be down for a long time. So, you know, the team here, the fleet managers and the driver development managers really do work well and work with us as a team. to try to do the best thing for the company and the best thing for the trainee and the best thing for me. And you know, it's can get quite complicated sometimes, but I really like the way that everybody here has a good attitude, and we work well together. That's something that I have seen come through quite a bit since I've been here in the last 3 months. Is, you know, we work well together, and I like feeling like I'm a part of a team, and that I feel like each person within that team listens to my input, and I really feel respected, and I feel like a part of a team. So I can't state that enough. My paychecks have been pretty decent, pretty stable since I've been here as well. And training, since I've become a trainer, it's a long-term thing with the bonus structure and the pay structure. And I've kind of talked about that in some of my other videos, that it takes a while to start seeing the increases in the driver pay. And I like that, because I didn't just come over here to be a trainer to make more money, and I came here to be a part of investing into my trainees' future. Of course, the benefit of the increased pay is secondary to enjoying what I do as being a part of the training process for me. And you know, some people have different motivations, but if your main sole motivation is just for the money and not putting down a good foundation for your trainees as a trainer, I think you might want to question your motives a little bit. But of course, you know, a lot of people do become a trainer because they do want to progress in their career, and they do want to move up to the next step in pay as well. But it's not a standalone thing. There are a lot of responsibilities that come in, and it's an investment. And you make a lot of sacrifices as a trainer. Obviously, some of the sacrifices are being too up in a truck, having the patience and the communication to be able to develop driving habits from people that have never driven a big truck down the road. All they've driven is their little car, and then they get into these trucks, and then you have to kind of look at their driving habits, and you have to say, okay, this is the way you're driving, this is the way you need to drive a truck. Because driving a truck is a lot different than driving a car. You know, you've got things like following distance, and how much time you allow for changing lanes. How much do you slow down before you get to an exit? How much do you accelerate when you're merging with traffic? How do you turn the vehicle? How do you back up the vehicle? Everything about driving these trucks is so vastly different from driving a little car. So a lot of the habits that people bring when they get into these trucks and have to learn how to drive a new vehicle, a much bigger vehicle, it's always it's a lot of work. And it takes a lot of patience, because you have to describe the reasons why you need to change the habits of the driving from a small car to a big truck. And it has to make sense, and so you got to be good at communication, and you've got to be able to present in a logical sense what it is that they're doing in their habits when they're driving, and then be able to put that into words and say, you know, this is what you're doing, this is what we need to work on, and this is why. And you know, a lot of drivers get behind the wheel and they know the law, but they don't know the application or the why. And so the better you can express that, it's a communication game. And I think I've come a long way. I still have some ways to grow. I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect. And I know that I'm getting better at communication, and I'm getting better at my patience, and I'm getting better at my endurance to be able to not get so excited. There's sometimes when I get scared when my trainee's driving, but I think I'm getting better at staying calm. When you get excited and the trainee gets excited, it gets hectic. So But if you love your job and you want to be able to make sacrifices so that it's not just about you out here, be a trainer. Some of the qualities that I think make a good trainer are, if you want to progress to the next step and you want to make it not just about you, and you want to be a part of somebody else's journey, and you want to give them the best experience possible when they come in as a new driver, then become a trainer. If you think that you can make a good positive impact on somebody else's life, then become a trainer. That's why I'm a trainer, is I want to make a good positive impact for another individual coming in and not knowing anything about the industry, and I want to give them the best experience possible so that they can get the most out of the training experience. Because I think that if you train them wrong, then you're setting them back for a long time, and they're going to take a lot of bad habits forward with them in their career early on. And I don't think that that's what I went through when I was trained. My training experiences when I first came in the trucking were absolutely horrible. I wasn't shown hardly anything at all, and so I was like, you know, how can I turn that into a positive? Well, I can make sure that I take something from my bad experiences and make sure that my trainees don't have the same experience that I had. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough. So I think the next steps is for me, get a rental car and take all the stuff out of this truck, and we're going to be leaving this truck here while they try to figure out what's wrong with it, because they've worked on it for 2 days and still haven't been able to figure it out. So the next video I make, I'll be shooting it in a brand new truck. So Lord willing, we'll see how everything works out. Got a lot of work to do to get there, so I gotta pull everything off this truck, put it in a rental car, drive from Phoenix over to Tulsa, Oklahoma, put everything onto a new truck, on board onto a new truck. And then I think after about a week and a half after that, I got to go home and pack the house and move over to Idaho. So I've got lots going on. But this company's been awesome so far. Knight Transportation has really, really stable, really steady. That's what I like. I like things to be predictable. Can't predict all things, you know. Not really predictable, but more stable, you know. But we've been doing pretty good. So that's all I've got. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and share. And if you're thinking about coming over to Knight Transportation as a new driver, the training experience here, Knight really does put a lot into their training and making sure that you get the best training possible. And we work really tightly with each other to make sure that the trainees get the proper training that they need. So if you're new to the industry, you have your CDL, don't have your CDL, call Knight Transportation and see what they can do for you. And when you call them, make sure that Sean Cahalan, you told them that Sean Cahalan says that Knight Transportation is an awesome company. And my driver code is 24807. If you do give them a call, please give them my driver code so that I can get a referral bonus. And if you come on over here, I look forward to meeting you in one of these terminals. And I've already met a couple people that have watched my videos, and they said they really like my videos. So thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for subscribing. And thank you for recognizing me at a terminal. This is twice now. I thought it was pretty cool. So for you drivers that have walked up to me and said hello and shaked my hand and said that you liked my videos, thank you for your support. And let's keep this going. So thanks for watching, and God bless you all.